The subservient nature of computer science to the curricular content is not surprising, since these activities were typically conducted by classroom teachers with little experience in computer science. One would assume that the teachers would try to get advice from specialists, but there was little consultation and input from computer science specialists. The primary motivation for integration in this approach centered around economy of time, end quote. Now, another motivation for this particular approach was, quote, the building of student self-esteem, providing different modes of representations so that different students can succeed was a common theme in interviews with teachers, end quote. Now, if we look at this as a way to get kids to express themselves, okay, then maybe programming like Scratch approaches could work with that. But another way that you could look at this, the subservient approach, is computational thinking. So rather than actually learning computer science concepts, practices, skills, programming languages, etc., you learn like 4 or 5 different terms associated with whatever your definition of computational thinking is, like decomposition, abstraction, pattern recognition, etc. You can teach those relatively quickly to teachers. They incorporate that vocabulary, insert it into a lesson or two, and that approach could be described as a subservient approach, which is drastically different than the next approach, the co-equal cognitive integration style. Here's a quote from page 34. Quote, the second integrative style is the one advocated by the scholarly literature. It is also the least common in my study. Because it requires discipline-specific knowledge or skills, it was rarely practiced, and when it was either conducted by a teacher with an extensive computer science background or in consultation and cooperation with computer science specialists, end quote. Obviously, I changed the wording so it was computer science, not the arts. This approach, the co-equal style, engaged in like projects or units that occurred over a relatively long period of time, taking several lessons. This contrasts with the subservient approach, which kind of just throws in vocabulary or small activities to kind of enhance the subject area through the arts or computer science. So when I think of integration, I think of the co-equal style. This might be a teacher whose entire job is dedicated to computer science and programming, collaborating with another teacher, and they come up with together like a combined unit or project that students will work on in both classes. That could be a co-equal approach. It does, however, require at least one person to understand computer science or programming. But in my opinion, it allows you to dive deeper because you have somebody there with some expertise in the subject area. Without that expertise and the time and the money dedicated to developing that expertise, teachers would be limited to, again, skimming on the surface of concepts and practices, usually just by using vocabulary. This excerpt of the CSK8 podcast is from episode number 123. It's titled The Subservient, Co-Equal, Affective, and Social Integration Styles and Their Implications for Computer Science.